What is up, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm pacing around my office right now because I am blown away by the fact that some of you guys want to invest in real estate, but you still have no idea how to get started. You're not sure exactly what the steps are that you should be doing in order to make this happen, okay? And so right here live in front of you guys, I am going to go over the steps for you at a high level. The 12 steps to getting your next 12 houses, even though this is COVID, the crazy times, competitive, expensive markets, okay? None of that matters, guys, because I follow a proven process that me and my clients use every single week to take down deals, okay? And I wrote this for you guys on my blog here, 12 steps to buying a rental in 2020. I'll try to come back and link to this later, but you can screenshot that if you want. You go to the blog, it's like 5 or so entries down. You should be able to find it, brianellwood.net/blog. But anyways, these are the steps, and let's go over them and we'll take questions. So the first step is mindset, guys. Now you're probably wondering why that would be a step. Well, just let me remind you that the world's best athletes, okay? The world's top performers all have mindset coaches. The world's best athletes use sports psychologists, and we think that's normal because they're baseball players or basketball players, but we're entrepreneurs, we're investors, we're people that need help with psychology too. And so getting your mind in the right place is huge, okay? So I have a routine that I follow to give me confidence. I know what my vision is. I have goals. I wake up and I know what I'm supposed to be working on. It's not confusing to me. Okay, so mindset is the first thing that you guys want to figure out. You can succeed without a morning routine, without meditating, without having a vision, but you basically just have to chug coffee and stress yourself out, and it takes longer and it's harder, okay? So I'm not saying you have to do it, but it just makes it a lot easier. You kind of align things in your favor. The next piece, guys, is market, okay? You need to pick a great market to invest in for 2020. I do not advise picking markets that are super expensive and competitive. You guys need to go where the grass is greener, where there's not a million people, where you can get 50, 60K houses pretty easily that'll rent for $800 or $900 a month. That's if you want to scale a portfolio of single family houses, which is what I am all about, okay? So linear markets is something I'm going to be talking a lot more about moving forward. Those are markets that don't really appreciate. They don't go up or down. There's not a lot of competition there. You need to pick a good linear market. Otherwise, you're just going to struggle. I see so many people right now stuck on this step, okay? Once you have that figured out, the next piece is team. You need to build your starter team to get going. And honestly, that only means your property manager and your contractor. Those are the only two people you really need to be able to make an informed buying decision right now. Okay, you can figure out the rest of the team later. And then you have to figure out how you're going to find deals. Now, I market direct to sellers and I have people calling me, and that works best for me. I don't like to grind the phones. I just want to set up a system and forget it. I even have somebody that takes my calls for me and just tees up the deals for me once they're under contract, right? You can use the grind technique too to find deals, but you have to find opportunities. Most people are stuck at number 4, but it's actually because number 2 is wrong, because they're in the wrong market, that it would take they have to fight tooth and nail to find deals. And so the right market does make marketing easier, but you need to create a predictable flow of opportunities. And that's because you need to make offers like we'll talk about in a second. Next is figuring out the money. You don't need to figure out the money right now. You can do it later, because I promise there's an option for everybody. If you're completely broke and you have no money at all, I don't really recommend getting in the game. I do like for people to have a few months worth of expenses plus maybe 5 or 10K. You can still do deals with none of your own money, but if the HVAC blows up, I wouldn't want you to be put in a position where you're having to go get a credit card to pay for a new HVAC, right? So a little bit of money versus no money is advised. But What I'm really talking about here is just figuring out your financing options, right? So that when you look at deals, you can literally just be like, oh, okay, so with that deal, I could do a BRRRR deal and I could, refi out. Or with this deal, seller's asking too much, so I'm going to have to do seller financing terms. Like, you need to be able to connect those dots. Most people just get really overwhelmed when it comes to thinking about buying a piece of real estate because it costs so much, right? Even cheap house for $50,000 is still $50,000, right? It's like not the same as spending $100 at the sushi restaurant, right? It's harder to wrap your head around. When things are overwhelming to us, when we don't understand them, it causes anxiety. We just shut down and move on, okay? So you need to figure out the money. Now, part of this is going to mean getting in the game and doing deals, but if you're stuck here because you're just confused, like, you're never going to do deals, okay? So now, number 6, business setup. This just means starting a separate bank account. You need to decide if you're going to do like an LLC or keep it in your personal name, and then get some good software to analyze deals. And then you analyze deals, okay? So now you have your markets, you have marketing coming in, you know what you would do financing wise so that you have confidence in making offers. Now you can actually analyze deals. And this is like where the reps come in. I say in this blog post, it's like, Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. Super important to learn how to do that and to be able, like, I can look at a deal for 5 minutes and just say, okay, I'm going to offer $45,000 because I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times, right? And so you have to learn how to analyze deals. You have to get some reps in, and that is kind of the work. Like, you should have time blocked off every week to analyze deals once you get to step 7. Otherwise, you're just messing around, basically, okay? And then once you do that, the whole purpose of that is to make offers, right? You need to actually make an offer. And I teach a process called making a soft offer, where I don't actually send a contract first because I want to test the motivation of the seller. So, it's really just like sending an email or a text, but you're communicating your offer to the seller, okay? And guys, this is the biggest one. Like, if I had to narrow everything down to one action, if I could only talk to you for 30 seconds a month and we were going to do coaching together, this is what it would boil down to. We'd talk and say, well, how many offers did you make? And then, all right, focus on this. Because, like, a lot of people say, I can't find any deals. And I'll say, well, how many offers have you made in the last 2 weeks or 4 weeks? And they always say none. So why do you think they're having trouble finding deals, right? They're not making any offers. And they're usually not making any offers because they're missing one of these other pieces, right? They're missing confidence. They don't have a vision. They don't really know what strategy. They're all confused, or they don't have a good market, or they don't have a team that they can rely on to help them make smart decisions, or they don't have enough deals, or they don't understand the money, or they don't know how to analyze a deal, right? So there's a bunch of things that could be getting in the way of you making offers. And so that's why you need to do this in order, so that when you get to step 8, you're not just like having like a brain fart and not doing anything, and you're not sure why you're clammed up. It's because you're missing one of the other steps. All right, step 9 is due diligence. So let's say they say yes to your offer. You've got to find out now if you really want the property, okay? So you have to have a process for that. I use a inspector, contractor, and property manager in conjunction with each other to leverage their expertise on whether or not I should buy it. Very specific process. And that's how I buy properties in like states like Alabama when I'm sitting in Colorado, because I have people that are smarter than me, boots on the ground. So you have a due diligence process, and then that's usually, a matter of weeks or days. And then you say, okay, I definitely want to buy it. And then you renovate it. And again, this is another area you need a process for, to make sure that you don't get screwed over by the contractor, to make sure you arrive at your desired outcome. The property gets renovated the way you thought it would. These processes are not like I promise you, if you guys took like math class in high school or college, it was more complicated than this stuff is, all right? It's just that the stakes are a bit higher, you could argue here, because you've got a lot of money on the line, but these processes don't have to be super complicated, and you guys can, dial them in also over time. Like the first deal you do, your due diligence process won't be great. You might overlook like a repair. The first deal you do, your analysis process might not be perfect. You might overlook the fact that it was on a busy street and it's going to rent for $75 less than you thought it was, right? And then the first deal you do, your due diligence, or not your due diligence, but your renovation process is not going to be perfect either. You might disperse a payment to the contractor when the work wasn't fully done in the right way, and you're kind of putting yourself at risk. But if you can duplicate some processes that other investors have already created, that's 70, 80, 90% of the battle. And then it's just some tweaks from there. And with each deal you do, your processes get tighter because you've done it, okay? So just understand, if you're on the sideline and you're scared, like the first deal you do will for sure be the hardest one. And then the next one will be like twice as easy. And then the third one will be even easier than that. And then the fourth one will be like nothing. Like I can buy a house now and not even think about it, right? Because I've just gone to the closing company and signed the document so many times. And I lost money when I was learning, but now, I've got a process. And so I'm not super worried about buying deals. It doesn't, make me nervous or anything like that to do. Okay. So due diligence to manage, to make a final decision, and then a process to renovate it. Make sure you manage that contractor. I usually use a project manager, someone who stops by the property a few times a week to check on my contractor. That's key. And that's pretty much it, guys. Then you hand it off to the property manager. You make sure that, it's rented for the right amount, and then you back off. You got to realize that it's the property's manager's job to make your property perform. It's not your job, okay? A lot of people will hand it off and then they'll just start freaking out and like micromanaging, and they're not creating a passive investment for themselves, okay? So when you hand it off, if it doesn't perform, or if they can't get it rented out or whatever, or the tenants are messing up, you fire them, the property manager. You don't try to step in and like help them do their job or help them find tenants or tell them they should get rid of the tenants. You just get rid of them, okay? That's delegation at its highest. And then step 12 is repeat, okay? So the good news is, once you get to step 12 with your first property, then you look back, well, what do I do next? Well, think about this. You already have your mindset figured out. You already picked your market. You have your team. You've got your marketing. You figured out the money piece. You've set up your business. And so for rental number 2, you just go back to step 7 and move forward from there. So you analyze more deals, make more offers, and go step 7 to 12, or 7 to 11, 7 to 12, whatever, over and over again until you get enough rentals to hit your goals. Okay? So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I've got to hop off, but if you guys have questions about this, reply here, shoot me a DM. If you want to talk with me or a member of our team about what it looks like to have us grab you by the hand and walk you through this. If you want to just literally duplicate all our processes for mindset and picking a market and marketing and the due diligence and the deal analysis and the renovation, if you don't want to figure all that out on your own and you just want us to show you how to do it, just shoot me a DM, say I'm ready, and let's talk. I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I got to run. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon. Peace.